The first words shattered years of silence. It happened on an ordinary Tuesday morning, in the bright lobby of one of the largest technology companies in the city. Employees rushed past with coffee cups and laptops. Elevators chimed endlessly. Security guards greeted familiar faces. Everything looked routine until a tiny little girl, who had not spoken a single word in almost 4 years, looked at a stranger fixing an electrical panel and quietly whispered, "She sounds nice." The sentence was barely louder than a breath. But for her mother, powerful CEO Victoria Hale, those 3 words stopped time itself. If you believe that kindness can heal wounds no amount of money ever could, take a moment to like this video, leave a comment, share it with someone who believes in second chances, and subscribe to Soulful Tales too for more emotional stories that stay with your heart long after they end. Victoria Hale had built an empire before turning 42. Every business magazine praised her fearless leadership. Investors admired her confidence. Competitors feared her intelligence. She negotiated billion-dollar contracts without blinking and transformed struggling companies into industry leaders. Yet every evening, when she returned to her luxurious penthouse overlooking the city skyline, none of those achievements mattered. The silence inside her home was louder than applause from thousands of shareholders. Her 8-year-old daughter, Marin, had stopped speaking after surviving a terrible highway accident that had claimed the life of her father nearly 4 years earlier. Doctors called it selective mutism caused by overwhelming trauma. Therapists worked patiently for years. Specialists from around the world tried every modern treatment. Victoria spent millions searching for hope, but every appointment ended the same way. Marin remained silent. She smiled occasionally. She nodded when asked simple questions. She communicated through drawings, tiny notes, or gentle hugs, but words never came. Not a single sentence. The silence slowly consumed Victoria's own life. She buried herself deeper in work because work was predictable. Business problems had solutions. Broken companies could be repaired. Financial losses could be recovered. But no amount of money could buy back her daughter's voice. That Tuesday morning, Victoria had brought Marin to headquarters because her longtime nanny had fallen ill. She planned to finish an important meeting before taking her daughter home. Marin quietly colored pictures in the executive lounge while Victoria prepared for a presentation that could determine the future of the company. Downstairs, maintenance crews were replacing outdated electrical systems after weekend. Storms caused power fluctuations throughout the building. One electrician stood out from everyone else. His name was Adrian Mercer. Unlike the others who hurried through assignments, Adrian carefully greeted everyone with a warm smile. Security guards knew him by name because he had been working temporary maintenance, contracts across downtown, office buildings for several years. He wasn't wealthy. His uniform showed signs of long days and harder years. His tool belt had been repaired more than once with careful stitching. Yet people naturally felt comfortable around him. Unknown to most employees, Adrian was raising his 6-year-old daughter, Poppy, alone after losing his wife to an aggressive illness 3 years earlier. Every morning before work, Adrian packed school lunches, braided Poppy's curly hair despite never learning properly, and left encouraging notes inside her backpack. Every evening he rushed home no matter how exhausted he felt, because Poppy always waited by the apartment window counting the minutes until her father returned. Life had never been easy, but Adrian believed that children remembered love far more than expensive gifts. Around noon, Marin quietly wandered away from the executive lounge while Victoria remained trapped inside an unexpectedly long board meeting. She wasn't trying to escape. She simply followed the cheerful sound of gentle humming echoing through the hallway. The melody belonged to Adrian. As he repaired wiring inside an open electrical cabinet, he softly hummed an old lullaby his late wife used to sing to Poppy every night. He didn't realize anyone was listening. Marin slowly approached until she stood only a few feet away. She watched him work with complete fascination. Adrian noticed the little girl but didn't interrupt his task. Instead, he smiled kindly before returning his attention to the electrical panel. Without saying anything, Marin continued listening. Then Adrian quietly spoke, not expecting an answer. He simply mentioned that the song had always sounded prettier when Poppy's mother sang it because children deserved beautiful memories, even after losing someone they loved. For the first time in years, something inside Marin shifted. Her tiny hands tightened around the stuffed rabbit she always carried. Her eyes filled with tears. Then, almost without realizing it herself, she whispered, "She sounds nice." The words floated through the hallway. Adrian immediately turned, surprised but careful not to overwhelm her. At that exact moment, Victoria stepped out of the elevator after searching every floor for her daughter. She heard the sentence. For several seconds, she honestly believed she had imagined it. Her heart pounded painfully. She stared at Maren with disbelief before tears rushed down, her face faster than she could wipe them away. Doctors had warned her not to pressure her daughter if speech ever returned naturally. So instead of running forward, Victoria remained frozen. She watched silently as Adrian simply smiled back at Maren. He didn't celebrate. He didn't ask more questions. He didn't even mention the miracle that had just happened. He simply thanked her for listening to the song. Something about his calmness made Maren feel safe. Victoria had witnessed hundreds of executives trying to impress powerful clients. She recognized performance when she saw it. This wasn't performance. This was simple human kindness. Later that afternoon, she quietly approached Adrian to thank him. He seemed almost embarrassed by the attention. He explained that children often responded better when adults expected nothing from them. His own daughter had spent months refusing to smile after losing her mother. He had learned that healing couldn't be forced. Sometimes children only needed someone willing to sit beside their pain without demanding it disappear. Those words echoed inside Victoria's mind for days. She found herself thinking less about quarterly reports and more about that hallway conversation. Every afternoon afterward, Maren asked through handwritten notes if they could visit headquarters again. Victoria agreed. Each visit followed the same pattern. Adrian worked while Maren quietly sat nearby drawing pictures. Some afternoons she spoke a single word. Other days she remained silent again. Yet unlike therapists who celebrated every sound, Adrian never pushed. He treated every moment exactly the same whether she spoke or not. Slowly, incredibly, the words became more frequent. She commented on clouds outside the window. She asked why birds built nests. She laughed when Adrian accidentally dropped a screwdriver into an empty bucket, startling himself more than anyone else. Each tiny sentence felt like sunlight entering a house abandoned by warmth. Victoria couldn't understand why years of expensive treatment had accomplished so little while ordinary conversations beside an electrical cabinet achieved what specialists couldn't. Then she finally realized something priceless. Healing had never been hiding inside medical equipment. It had been hiding inside patients. Weeks passed. Maren eventually met Poppy after school one afternoon. The two little girls instantly connected through crayons, playground swings, and shared stories about missing a parent they loved deeply. Poppy spoke enough for both of them at first. Maren mostly listened. Then one afternoon, while building sandcastles in a nearby park, Maren laughed out loud before asking Poppy whether castles in heaven ever washed away. The question made every nearby adult quietly wipe away tears. Victoria noticed another remarkable transformation. Adrian never treated Maren as someone broken. He simply treated her as another child deserving respect. For the first time since her husband's death, Victoria also allowed herself to smile without guilt. She finally understood she hadn't only been trying to save her daughter, she had been trying to outrun her own grief. Months later, the company organized its annual employee appreciation celebration. Instead of holding another formal ceremony filled with speeches and awards, Victoria surprised everyone. She stood before hundreds of employees and spoke honestly. She admitted that despite leading thousands of workers, the greatest lesson about leadership had come from someone who wasn't an executive at all. She invited Adrian onto the stage. Confused applause filled the auditorium. Victoria explained that true leadership wasn't measured by titles, salaries, or offices overlooking city skylines. It was measured by the ability to restore hope inside another human being without expecting recognition. She announced that Adrian would become Director of Community Well-Being, leading mentorship programs, supporting employees facing family hardships, grief, or mental health struggles. The audience rose together in a standing ovation that lasted several minutes. Adrian accepted humbly, saying that every child deserved adults who believed healing was possible even when progress seemed invisible. The loudest applause came from employees who had quietly struggled through their own personal battles while trying to appear strong at work every day. 1 year later, the headquarters lobby looked almost identical. Employees still hurried toward elevators. Coffee still filled the air with rich aromas. Business continued, but one sound had permanently changed the building: children's laughter. Victoria had transformed unused office space into a family resource center where employees could bring children during emergencies. Adrian supervised volunteer activities every Friday afternoon, while Poppy and Marin happily welcomed newcomers with games, books, and art supplies. Visitors often noticed the framed photograph hanging near the entrance. It showed an electrician kneeling beside a little girl holding a stuffed rabbit. Neither looked directly at the camera. Both were simply smiling. Below the picture rested a small silver plaque. It read, "Sometimes the greatest miracles begin with someone who expects nothing in return." If this story touched your heart, please like this video, leave a heartfelt comment, share it with someone who needs hope today, and subscribe to Soulful Tales too, so more people can discover stories that remind us kindness still changes lives. Special request: before this story ends, please comment, "Kindness gives voices back." If you believe one act of compassion can change someone's life forever. Victoria often thought back to that ordinary Tuesday when she had walked into a hallway expecting to find her lost daughter. Instead, she found something far greater. She discovered that broken hearts are not always healed by power, wealth, or perfect solutions. Sometimes they begin healing because one gentle stranger chooses patience over pressure, understanding over judgment, and compassion over recognition. Marin's first words did more than end years of silence. They reminded everyone who witnessed that unforgettable moment that hope often arrives quietly, wearing work boots instead of expensive shoes, carrying a toolbox instead of a title, and changing lives without ever asking for applause. And in the end, that simple truth became the greatest success Victoria Hale would ever know.